Hi, this is Mitch Doan, and along with Jamie Richardson, we're your hosts of the Break-Thru Active podcast. We aim to deep dive into health and fitness that will help bring you a better understanding of topics that are of interest to you and can help you on your own journey. If you are enjoying the episodes, we'd love for you to leave us a rating on the platform you listen to your podcasts. Enough from me, sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Break-Thru Active podcast. I'm your host again. This is Mitch. This morning is bloody cold. We are well and truly into the winter period here now, only a week or so in, but I feel like I haven't had my heater off since winter started. So sitting here in my office, it is cold and my heater is blaring. So hopefully you're listening to this somewhere nice and warm. Today what I am wanting to talk to you guys about is intermittent fasting. So for some of you guys, this may be the first time you've ever heard of the term intermittent fasting. For others, it is something that you may have heard of years ago and have potentially even tried it. So I am just wanting to give a bit of an explanation of what intermittent fasting is as it relates to nutrition and its approach to nutrition. For those that have been in and out of the health and fitness community for some years now, you've probably heard of it, or like I mentioned, maybe even tried it, or had someone you know who tried it, or heard a trainer like me talking about it. So I just wanted to dive into it a little bit more and talk about some of the specifics of intermittent fasting. I will be talking about it a little more in the coming episodes as well. So for this one today, I just wanted to explain some of the basics and the foundations and principles of it before getting into the weeds a little bit more in the coming episodes. So intermittent fasting, the word intermittent, it's not a very common word in our dialect, but it does mean irregular. So if you look at it like that, irregular fasting. So if we are just fasting, that means that we are going without food permanently. But intermittent fasting means that there's irregular periods where we have chosen to fast and go without food. So the thought behind intermittent fasting is that if our bodies go without food for a certain amount of time, and I will discuss some of the common approaches and the common timing strategies around it, but the thought is that if our body goes without food for a certain amount of time, we will deplete and use all our sugar and carbohydrate stores. And once we've used and depleted all of those stores, then our body will actually start burning body fat instead of the glucose and the sugar and the carbohydrates that it normally does. So that was the premise behind it as it relates to why some people like to start it. It has been proven to show some really other positive health benefits. The main one, well, maybe not the main one, but the one that where people will commonly use it, the reason why they use it is for weight management, so to help them manage their weight or even lose some weight. It's good for your tissue health, it's good for your heart health, and then also has been shown to improve your cognition and your memory as well. So it does have some really, really positive benefits when done correctly. So there are a few common approaches and common ways that people do look at and start with their intermittent fasting. So like I mentioned there earlier, the concept behind it is that you are choosing periods where your body is fasting, and they don't have to be regular. That's where it says irregular or intermittent fasting. The most common form of this, which I've found in my experience, through my own personal experience, as well as with clients doing it and other members and friends and people in the community, is the 16-8 model. So what that means is 16 hours of the day you are fasting, which means that the other 8 hours of the day you're eating. So obviously not constantly, but how this may look for you is that, let's say we use this 16-8 model. 12 p.m., so midday through to 8 p.m. is 8 hours, and they're the hours that we're actually eating our whole intake of food for the day, but doing so in a condensed time period between midday and 8 p.m. So once that clock hits 8:01, that means that we are fasting. all the way through until midday the next day. So hence the 16, 8, and also 16 hours fasting, 8 hours of eating. I found that one to be the most common and the most popular, and to be honest, probably the easiest one to transition into for anyone who is looking to try it, just because a few of the other ones, which I'm going to mention here in a moment, I've found with my experience to be a little more challenging. So that one's the most common, and I think for a reason, because it's the easiest one to transition into, but still effective in the sense that it ticks all the boxes for what it means to be truly intermittent fasting. The next one is a 5-2 model, which looks at the days. This was popularized by, I'm not exactly sure who the author was, but there's a few books that have been written about this, which encourage the 5-2 model. So how this looks is for 5 days of the week, you're eating normally, just like you would any old week, but then 2 days of the week, you're going extremely low calorie and only eating 500 or 600 calories within that week, within that day, I'm sorry. Now, this is a different form of fasting to what I just mentioned above, but still holds true in the sense that 2 days of the week, we are really going without and limiting our food intake and giving our body a chance to deplete those carbohydrate and glucose and sugar stores in our body, and then the idea is our body will start burning fat. So a little bit of a different approach, but still the same in the sense that we are fasting intermittently, and that one's done on a week-to-week basis as opposed to a day-to-day basis. So to be honest, I haven't actually tried that. I know plenty of people who have and have had a hard time sticking with that, especially when compared to the 16-8 one, but also just a very common option for people who are looking to get into it, perhaps for the first time, or if they have tried a few other forms of it. And then the third one that I have come across, which is less popular, but I have found quite a bit of research on and have known a few people to do something similar to this, is a quarterly fast. So quarterly as it pertains to a whole year. So 4 times a year, once a quarter, you will do a 48 to 72 hour complete fast where your body goes without everything except water. And you repeat this 4 times in the year, once every 3 months. So again, I don't have as much, research to be able to comment on with that. At first thought, I found this to be quite difficult. I can't imagine going, any more than 12 hours without food, let alone 48 or 72. Some people may have done 40-hour famine in the past. I haven't heard as much of that recently, but I know that was a little bit of a thing. I believe it was for charity and quite common where people would go 40 hours without eating. So that is not too far off what this form of fasting is. But to do it once a quarter, I feel like it would be quite demanding on the body. And if you have anything on for those few days, perhaps not going to be quite as productive or efficient with what you're doing there. So challenging to say the least, I believe. But yeah, they're the main three. And on top of that, just wanted to give a very quick explanation of what exactly intermittent fasting is. So if you are someone who has never ever heard of it before, I hope this has been able to shed some light on it for those of you who may have heard of it but haven't looked too much into it, or perhaps even those who have tried it and gone down that road a little bit. I hope you've been able to learn a couple of things regarding intermittent fasting. Like I mentioned earlier, I will be discussing this in some more detail in the coming episodes. So if it is of interest to you, then I suggest you listen up in the next couple of days, because you will be sure to learn a couple of things as I deep dive into it a little bit more. Alright, thanks for listening, guys. Enjoy the day, stay warm, and I'll chat to you soon. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If there is a topic you'd like us to discuss that we haven't already, please make sure you reach out in Facebook Messenger and we'll do our best to cover it in the upcoming episodes. For those of you enjoying the podcast, we'd love for you to like, subscribe, and leave us a rating. It really helps us grow and spread the good word. Hoping you're all having a great day, and we'll be sure to see you on the next one.